Trigger warning. In this podcast, we talk about emotionally weighted and charged topics. If you're not ready, give yourself grace and come back when you are.
Hello and welcome back to Right on Time. It is so good to be back. And guess who's with us today?
I'm back!
She's here! She's back!
Surprise! I'm back. Did you miss us? Because we missed you.
Yeah. So welcome back, everybody. We have the infamous Sara back with us. It's been a minute.
I know. I feel like I've aged 3 years in the last 2 months, so...
But your hair's banging, so that's fine. Doesn't matter. All's good in life.
Well, I get my hair done tomorrow, actually. We've timed this terribly. It's even better if it was tomorrow.
Yeah. I feel if anybody had been watching and listening to our outtakes ahead of this, Sara giving herself a blow dry ahead of this.
Don't give away the secrets. Don't give away the secrets.
I'm going to put it out there. The fact that you've managed to give this hair an absolute, infamous blowout in sake of 2 minutes, I feel like you need to give people your top tips.
Mark Hamill thermal brush. There you
there we go.
£30. That's a bargain, eh?
That is a bargain. But no, it's been a minute. And it's so nice to have you back. I missed you last 2 weeks ago when we were back
really
last week recorded.
You done really well without me.
Well, to be fair, I had Perry keeping me company. For those who don't know who Perry is, Perry's in the background doing our production. He's sitting in the grey just chilling. Just our wee Pez. But yeah, it was different not having you around, but it is so nice to have you back. And we've had, I guess, a bit of a hiatus. And it's been, we've both had a few breaks. You were away in Spain.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a different story.
That's
we'll delve into that.
Yeah, a break that turned into a bit of a drama. We were skiing, so I feel like the pair of us have had some good time out and a little bit of a hiatus.
I wasn't very well last episode. That's why I wasn't here. I did have the flu.
Yeah,
which was horrendous.
I know getting ill with a baby is just another level.
Oh my god! I honestly haven't felt that bad.
You sounded horrific, to the point.
I still have a bit of a cough as well. I still have it.
Yeah, you sound like you. I remember when you were voice noting, you sounded as if you'd been chain smoking all your life.
Honestly, I was bedbound. I was on the phone crying to my mum, being like, "Can you come up tomorrow, please?" Because
it's another level.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it totally wiped you out. You were ill for not just a few days; it was weeks.
Oh yeah, a couple of weeks. I was not myself at all.
Yeah, the flu is no mean feat. But we have both spoke at length about, obviously we've had a wee break, obviously we've had some holidays, we've had a bit of being under the weather, and we spoke at length about whether or not we wanted to share with our listeners around what else has been going on. But I think we both came to that place where we figured the whole point of this podcast is that we're our authentic selves. We are real about the journey that we're on as mums, and the evolution that comes with parenthood. And we also hope that we can help others along the way. And we kind of came to that place where we wanted to share also what's been going on behind the scenes with us both. Mm-hmm. And I guess, do you want to give us a little bit of an update and bring us up to speed about what's going on, chick?
Well, the last episode that we had, I was saying how I was going to get help. I was feeling a little bit, I had a panic attack at Christmas and stuff like that. And I feel like since Christmas, it's just been a slow kind of, I don't know, burner in my head. And I did self-refer to the NICU wellbeing team, but I couldn't get an appointment till the end of March, so I'm actually still waiting on that appointment with them. And the week after that self-referral, it's everything just got on top of me. And yeah, just a little bit of, eventually I went to the doctors because I had a little bit of a breakdown, if you want to say. And then, yeah, a little bit of postnatal depression, pretty much, and PTSD. It's not it's obviously not an uncommon thing.
No.
It's just one of those things that I didn't expect to get maybe eight months down the line. If you know what I mean? Because they say baby blues and stuff happen quite, the first 6 weeks or something like that really is when you're prone to get it. But Yeah, and I think well, my health visitor, even when my health visitor came to see me, because she was really good, she came and my doctor spoke to her and she came to see me. She was kinda like, "I'm surprised it's not happened before now."
Oh
So,
wow.
just giving everything.
Yeah. But that's great, right? That she provided that support and
Yeah,
kind of
it was really
intervened
good.
quite quick. Because actually, I remember when we spoke about where you're at in terms of headspace, you were like, I just feel like it's just all consuming.
Yeah.
And
Mhm,
actually, like I look back on that episode that we recorded,
mhm.
and
5 minutes in.
have
I'm yawning.
have you got tissues?
There you go.
I know. But I'm really proud of you, right? But I look back on that episode and I almost think I'm like, God, like it was bubbling under the surface.
Yeah,
Like it
and
was
us talking about it weekly, like, I don't know if this was
yeah.
maybe heighten things for me, like, subconsciously, even though you think it's great talking about it and stuff like that, I don't know if that was maybe I don't just bringing things to the surface more for me maybe.
Potentially. And I think in some ways the podcast we always said was a bit of a risk and a gamble because we thought it would be cathartic to be able to be really
Yeah.
honest with ourselves and everyone else about what's going on. But at the same time, you are opening a can of worms, right? And it's a can of
But
worms that you can't.
we haven't had time to process properly yet.
No, not at all. But I'm really glad you had that support from the health visitor because it's frustrating to think that when you're at a point where you really need that support, you have to wait months and months and months for an
Yeah.
appointment. And there's so many
Mhm,
other
and
people out
it is like that for
there.
loads of people, and even my health visitor has said, "Look, there's groups that I can refer you to, um, for these kind of things, and it's a 10-week block,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll it's just all on video calls, so you don't even need to go on the camera if you don't want to, but it's like a group thing."
All right. Okay.
I can't remember what it's called. I'll need to figure it out. Once I find out what it's called, I'll put it on the socials. And she can refer you, and she said, "But obviously right now they're in a 10-week block." She was like, "So when the next one starts, it will be a little bit of a long tension, but I think you might be in a better headspace to actually tackle that then."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's like, "I don't want you to panic that I'm giving you" 'cause obviously at that point I was like, "Oh my god, like, that's something else I need to do." Like,
I know. Well,
but
we spoke about like the list,
yeah.
like the feeling of, because I think you touched on it there. Like it's the build up of everything that you've been through,
Mhm.
and you're like, gosh, it's hit me now. But actually, we often speak about the reality of it's not just about the journey that you have while your little one's in the NICU. It's in the transformation coming home,
Yeah.
and then adjusting to life at home.
The way that I had said it and described it to people since is like, what happened, and when he was born, the 6 weeks after being in the hospital, you were in fight or flight survival mode, running on pure adrenaline, and then home, pure elation,
Mm-hmm.
another type of adrenaline, and then, uh, at Christmas, obviously, I had a little bit of a PTSD moment, and then after Christmas, like, sleep regression, teething, everything happened at once, and he was not sleeping. He did not sleep fully, a full night until, I would say, maybe even the start of February.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe the 2nd week of February when we were in Spain. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he had not slept a full night, and trying to get him to sleep was horrendous, screaming, like, he was just screaming nonstop. I couldn't settle him. Me or Ryan couldn't settle him, and it was just the sleep deprivation on top of
It
that.
kills you.
It just really
Mm-hmm.
obviously got to me at that point. And then you're sitting thinking, "God, this is my new reality." And then your hormones are dipping as well at this point, because that's
Mm-hmm.
what the doctor said. She was like, "Well, your hormones are all over the place, and right now you've been on such a high, now they're starting to come down." She went, "So this is not uncommon either, that postnatal depression and things like this come out at this point." But what I will say is they were very I think the health visitor was the only person that actually uttered the words postnatal depression to me.
So, yeah, I remember you saying that to me, and I remember we
The
both kind
doctor
of
didn't
talked.
say that, like,
Mm.
any of the nurses or anything that I've seen have not actually said those words.
And you
And I
wonder
don't know if
why.
maybe it's a trigger for people, maybe, like, they don't want to hear that. Maybe people,
Yeah.
like whereas for me, I kinda need that,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Affirmation
hear
of
that
this is
this is real,
yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
mm,
It's also validating how you're feeling, I think,
yeah,
as well, because you're like, I feel like this because of something.
yeah, and
Whereas,
I we like, it's there is it's like, yes, there is a chemical imbalance going on right now. Like,
Mhm.
it's real and it's a validation of feelings and all that, but again, there's other people that have dealt like this and it's common, and so that was nice to know.
Yeah. And I'm
Oh,
really proud of you
and I
because
swear I am better. I swear I am feeling better
I was gonna,
myself.
but I was gonna say that, like, how are you feeling now? Because so I guess before you answer that, like, I just want to put out there that as like one of your best friends, like, I'm just so incredibly in awe of you and proud of you because
Don't do that
I
all the
think
time anymore.
I know honestly, I think you're amazing, and I think how you've tackled this head on. You know, you've not dug your head in the sand. You've acknowledged it, and you're like, right, how can I get support, and what can I do? And you're open and honest about it, which I think hopefully this inspires anyone who's listened to this, and also makes people think, you know what,
Yeah.
I'm not the
I
only
have
one.
I have see, even since our last episode of
Yeah.
me kinda saying I do need to try and speak to someone, I've had people message me saying, "Yeah, I've reached out and started the process because of that," because you've said it. I've kinda thought that as well, so if anyone wants to reach out to me and speak about this, then please do. I'll cry with you. Do you know what I mean? As you can see. But I'm starting to feel I got some medication. I was on I'm not gonna make that a secret, I was on antidepressants before I fell pregnant because I've not wasn't depressed, I've always struggled with anxiety in my life, like, even since I was little, like, I've been a very anxious child, like, I just sleeping has always been hard for me, and that's why I got it in the first place, was to help me sleep, um, which obviously these tablets are not great if I'm trying to get up in the middle of the night for the baby, so this is another thing, but
Yeah.
they're not so bad that I can't function, so it's fine.
Mhm.
Because that was a trial run. But now we're past like the kind of 4 or 5 week mark of it. They're starting to kick in, and I do feel better myself. Like I feel I can react to things. I like can I take time to react to things. Whereas before I was just like it was my temper was just like
Mhm.
crazy, and I couldn't like bring myself out of it. I was just seeing red, and I could not bring myself out of it, and it would just be the tiniest wee thing.
Mhm.
Like
And it's a build up. So we were saying like a lot. So that piece we said about the to do list. So
yeah,
like actually it's the build up of not just one thing, it could be multiple things. And you just feel like you're in an endless cycle of to-do lists, you
yeah,
know, and they can be the most small things as well, right? Small things that actually are in the reality really, really insignificant, but they are so consuming. And I think that's a massive part around hopefully when you're getting your sleep. That
yeah,
makes a difference. Like you can, I think, hopefully self-regulate a bit better when you've got a bit of sleep as well. Like, and as you say, like your tolerance
yeah.
level is
Patience and everything's like starting to kinda
balance
yeah.
almost.
But the thing is as well, you try and do it all yourself. Like, I was trying to do
I
everything
know.
myself, and that's the thing. Like, instead of phoning my mum and saying, "Can you come up and
Asking for
help
help.
me?" Like,
But I think that is that a woman thing? Like, is
yeah,
that
I
like
think
we
so.
all
Like,
just
I
try
think
and
that's
do it
a mum
ourselves?
thing. I think that's a mum thing, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
when you become, because I kept thinking, loads of other people can do this. Why can I not do this?"
Mhm. And I remember you
Like,
saying to me, you were like, "How are you managing this? Like, you just seem like you've got this." And I remember being like, "Sarah, like, I haven't got this.
no,
Like, I wish." And but that's where I remember from that conversation. What I took from that was I need to be more transparent about when I really haven't got it because I
yeah.
think we do just plow on and we don't necessarily speak up when
Whereas
we
I'm
are
an
struggling.
oversharer. I'm an oversharer 100%, like, I've got friends that are like, "Yeah, everything's fine. We're doing great with the baby." And I'm like that, "Oh,
Yeah,
I'm hating my life right now, like, what?"
yeah,
Whereas
I get that.
'cause at the start well, not at the start, I would say in January after Christmas, it was obviously as well shite weather, like, number 1, storms, snow, we couldn't get out the house, we were stuck in the house, no money because it's just after Christmas, what can you do?
Mhm.
And, like, it's just you're just alone with this baby, and then you get in your head of milestones and developmentally, and am I doing everything right? Can I do this? He's no happy. He wasn't happy, so I wasn't happy.
Mhm.
But is he picking up because I'm not happy? Is that why he's not happy? And you're like getting in your head, and
Yeah,
then you're thinking of all the things that you need to do. Like, we were planning on going to Spain in February to visit Ryan's family, and I'm thinking, flying my baby, I need to research all this, I need to get all this, need to
You
get posters.
spiral without realizing, like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it comes back to
And
that list. Like, it's
yeah,
just everything climbs on top of one another. And I guess, like, go back to the point you make around how you've got friends who just, I guess, keep calm, carry on, right? That phrase.
yeah.
Like, they just seem
Which
like
I would
that.
say you were guilty of.
Oh,
You
I
were
am
guilty of.
100%, 1,000,000.
And I'm
And I
thinking
guess,
Megan's situation's a lot more stressful than what I am, and I'm losing my head.
but I
Like,
remember you
I'm
being
going
like, if,
crazy.
and I remember you saying it, you were like, how are you doing this? And I
Yeah,
was like, Sarah, I'm not. But I think that's where you gave, and that's what I mean about really proud of you, because you gave me the check in as well to say, how are you feeling? And also reminded me that the reason I don't always share with everybody around me, and even my closest of, I guess, my circle, is because I don't want to be a burden.
yeah. Well, that's
Which is, and we've talked about this before, like, it's not about seeing yourself as a burden, it's actually seeing it as you're sharing with people
yeah.
who care about you, and they would want to
Problem
know.
shared is a problem halved.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's easy enough for us to say this, and because this is the thing, I was fully I had 2 parts of my brain when this was happening, when I was going through this, like, 'cause like, I honestly just spiraled, and if my friends was going through what I was going through, I'd be saying all the right things,
Mhm.
and I'd be so kind to them and giving them grace, and it's okay. Whereas
You weren't giving it to yourself.
if someone was saying it to me, I just couldn't accept it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was weird, like, it was such a strange feeling.
I
It
know.
was
And
a
I remember you
strange
saying that, you were
feeling.
like, because the tables turned last week with me. And I
Uh-huh.
remember you saying, like, I'm going to preach to you what you preach to me.
Yeah.
And you said, you were like, I think there's a chance here you're probably listening thinking, what does she know? Or, like,
Yeah, but
of
you're not
course
going
it's,
through this.
yeah,
Like,
of course it's easy for her to say this, right?
yeah,
And when you said that, I was like, I bet you thought that when myself and others around you were like, you've got this, and you will come through this, and you're
yeah.
amazing, and you're probably sitting there being like,
Fuck
please be
off.
quiet. Yeah, like, just shut up.
Pretty much.
100%.
In my head, I was like, like,
Mm. But you've come through the other side, and that's the bit that I want
yeah,
you to, like, remind yourself of, is because actually you acknowledge you needed support. You acknowledge that you were like, I can't keep doing this.
but it got to a point where I had to.
Yeah.
Like, it got to a breaking point, and I
Mhm.
had to. It wasn't just that, like, even though the week before, like, the run up to it, the week before, I was like, "I need to get help." I kinda
Mhm.
knew in my head.
But I just don't think that we were registering around you
Yeah.
how much, like, how much we needed to step in and support you. And that's on, like, some of your friends, myself included. Like, I remember coming away being like, I remember listening back to that episode and I kicked myself a bit because I was like, she's asking for help, and
Oh, just hit the mic, sorry. But at the same
without
time,
realizing
you're
how
hard
bad things
here,
were.
but indirectly. It's one of those things it's no one's fault, not, like,
Mm.
at all. It's just shoulda, woulda, coulda, and we got to get to that point to get to where we are now, and
Yeah.
I need to stop crying because I am I swear to God, I do feel better. Um, I like, I too much information, but I started my period today, so there you go.
The
This is
hormones are
why,
through the
right?
roof.
This is why.
The hormones are through the roof. But no, like, I think, so to go back to that question, how you're saying you're like, I'm feeling much better now.
Yeah,
How
like,
are you feeling now?
I feel better in myself. I feel more like me again. Like,
Yeah.
I'm dressing myself better, like, I'm
Mm.
doing my hair, I'm doing my makeup even though I'm crying my eyes out. I'm, like, looking after myself again,
Yeah.
whereas that just see, for the past 8 months almost, it's like that just went out the
Bottom.
window.
Pecking order.
Yeah, and you do need to just take time for yourself, and even that in itself, putting a nice outfit together or whatever, has made me feel so much better. I cleared out all of, like, my wardrobes, got rid
Mhm.
like, just done a big massive declutter of all the house, and that made me feel
Yeah.
better as well. it was just getting to a point where I was like, I just want everything out of this house, because I was just so overwhelmed with everything.
Yeah.
It's like you just wanted to start again. Like, that's how I felt. I just wanted to start again here.
Mm-hmm. And like a blank canvas almost, like,
Yeah.
right, where
And
we're going
honestly,
from
it did
here.
make me feel better. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm definitely, and I'm sleeping better. I mean, saying that, I was up at 5:30 today.
Because of you or because of Felix?
Because of Felix. But
I was gonna say.
he woke up at 12 as well, randomly, and was hungry, so gave him a bottle, and then
Growth spurt, maybe.
after that. So I never got back to sleep until like 1:30, and the next minute he's up at 5:30. So I really only had like 5 hours.
Well, you look great for having very little sleep, I will say.
Thanks. I'm gonna crash about in an hour.
The
Yeah,
concealer's working for you.
thanks. Lighting.
But yeah.
The tears are making it look like I'm just dewy, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a glow, the natural glow up.
But yeah, I'm sleeping better. Like, I feel like that was a massive part of it. But they say that sleep deprivation is like a form of torture,
Oh,
like
Sarah,
a torture tactic.
horrendous. I mean, we've been through it as well, and it's just like I said to you, I'm like, I feel like, oh, you're on your knees.
Yeah,
And it's the physical and the emotional exhaustion that like sleep deprivation takes out of you. And I would say like I put on our socials like can you give us some examples of the things that have, I guess, tipped you to the edge,
yeah,
or tipped you over the edge as a parent? And so many of my friends had messaged me back saying sleep deprivation is the one. And I'm like, I don't think people appreciate. I mean, everyone says when you're either pregnant or you've had a baby, you're gonna lose your sleep. Like,
yeah. The
enjoy your
tiredness.
sleep while you can get it.
Yeah, all
That
that.
kind of phrase. But it is really hard. And I think also when you're then struggling as well, adding sleep onto that
Well,
just
this is the thing. I
amplifies
would go to
things.
bed, even if Felix was sleeping fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go to bed and my head was just
Mm-hmm.
spiraling, and then I wouldn't sleep because of that. So it was just, even though I was missing my opportunity to sleep. It
Yeah.
was just an endless cycle here. So I
So if
was,
you were to give advice to anybody who is listening to this and thinks, God, I can resonate to this so much, what advice would you give?
if you're feeling as low as I did, get, it's easy for me to say this, but go get help. Speak to someone, a friend. Oh, I'm going to cry even thinking about it. Just communicate and ask for
Mm-hmm.
help. And oh,
You've got this.
just look after yourself. You need to look after
Mm-hmm.
yourself, and it's okay. Like, it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a bad mum.
And that's huge, right? You're not a bad person for saying that you're struggling. It doesn't make you a weaker person. It doesn't make you any different from any other person out there, particularly any other mum.
I think that's what it boils down to. Like, I just felt like a bad mum.
Mm-hmm. And actually, and no matter what I say to you, you're not going to believe it, so I know this anyway, but you're the best mum you could possibly ever be to Felix. And actually, getting help and acknowledging at that point that you're feeling so low that you need to flag that in itself is the best thing you could have done for Felix.
Yeah.
And I think I'm a mega proud best friend, because I just think you're a strong mama, but you're also a strong woman. You really are.
Right, let's stop being nice to me now, because
Sorry. I mean, you're horrible.
I can't handle it, clearly. But yeah, my advice is,
Yeah.
don't be ashamed of it, I suppose.
There's no stigma. And I think that, and there is stigma, but you shouldn't see it as stigma.
But you put it on yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And like, you put it on yourself. No one else thinks that.
Yeah. I think that's massive. And I think that also like kind of ties in, like, so you've kind of given a bit of an update around June, then and you said you were like,
like, I had noticed after I was starting to feel a bit better that you were.
We met up on like a Monday. We went for brunch, which was the most chaotic.
Going for lunch with 2 children is just
pointless.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't waste your money. I swear to God.
Be stressed out even more, do that.
Yeah, we should have just gone to our houses. Um, but yeah, you picked up. You were like, I
But I
am
had picked up
sensing.
that during the week before that. I felt like you
Mhm.
were just a bit distant. Your text messages, they weren't blunt or anything like that. It was just you weren't yourself. I just knew you weren't yourself.
Mm.
You know?
I was
There was
giving you
just
the side
something
eye. Okay.
there was just something going on, and I was like, "How do I approach this?" And I thought, "I need to just do it in person because she can just text me back saying, 'Yeah, fine.'"
Yeah, and I think you, when you saw me, you were like, "There's just something missing." Like,
Yeah, you just weren't a little bit of sparkle had left.
hmm and I think that's like a really good way to summarize it. Like, I felt like a lot of my energy, my glow, as much as you can
Yeah.
glow as a mum who's on serious sleep deprivation, but a lot of that just kind of I felt was just disappearing for a wee while. And
Tables had turned at
it's
this point. It was
yeah,
like you swapped places.
yeah, definitely. And I then didn't want to. So it's ironic because I'm saying make sure you tell your friends, talk to your friends, and I then because I knew what you had been going through,
Yeah,
and I
you
was
didn't wanna
really
put it
mindful.
on my
Mhm.
plate, so then but then
I was like, I'm not
you
saying anything to her because I
you
don't want her
doing
then
it,
worrying about me.
you saying to me or me saying to you made me feel better
Yeah, yeah.
because I was like, "Well, like I said, I'm just slowly coming out of this,
hmm
hopefully." I'm not saying that I'm totally better, obviously, but that
You're
you
getting there.
also like I said, it makes me feel more human and it humanizes you because I was like, "Oh
hmm
my god, she's super mum here. How is she doing it?" And then when you were saying, "No, yeah, I think I'm struggling a little bit," I was like,
Thank God there's someone else that is
"Yeah,
also. I know.
thank God I can actually talk, I think, more honestly about this now." Because
Yeah.
it's you don't wanna scare your mum friends that you've, like
No, and I think that's a huge piece. Like, and you don't want to scare people, and you also don't want to like. You don't want. I just sometimes feel you don't want to offload. So there's an element
Yeah.
around you don't want to then offload and then have someone take that baggage away at that, which is ridiculous. Because if you've got two good friends, they won't
Yeah.
think that they're
No,
there
exactly.
regardless. But
Exactly.
I definitely, I said it earlier, I didn't want to put a burden on anyone. And actually, reality, it's it's not a burden like to the
Yeah.
people that really care. But yeah, I think for us, you mentioned it earlier. You go from being in the hospital kind of NICU environment, then we were also in hospital for a longer period where it was just fight or flight. And
Mm.
we've gone from one thing to another thing to another thing. And we've now got home. And I think that adjustment to getting home, and then we've now started to wean, which to be honest, if someone had said to me 3 months ago that we'd be in this place, I wouldn't have believed it. Like I really wouldn't. But I just feel like there's a lot of pressure for us to get the weaning right. And like Blake obviously is fed through a tube at night still. So he gets like a small amount of milk at night. And we're so close to getting rid of that. We've just kind of been doing what we can to get him to a place where he's eating as much as he can, taking as much in his bottles.
So
But it's
you
the
don't
pressure
feel
that
as
comes with
much.
it.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's the pressure you're putting on yourself and
huge.
to get to that point because 'cause you're wanting to do it as quick as you can,
Yeah. And I
really.
said to you, like, I feel like so much of this journey, I'm now accepting because we've never really gone into this space of weaning territory before. And it's a bit of a minefield, but it's
Yeah.
even more complex when you've got a little one like Blake who has got esophageal atresia, which affects his ability to swallow. And he can't eat the same way any other child has. And
Yeah.
I was saying to Sarah, I think I feel what has now hit me recently that I've really struggled to adjust to is that this is our reality. Like, this is our forever reality.
Yeah.
And that's not going to change. This is not just a phase. Sleep deprivation, as much as that was a killer, I in my head would be like, well, we'll get through this. Like, this is not forever. Whereas his condition is. And what comes with that condition, etc. I just said I found it really isolating.
Yeah.
Um,
Because
and
it's not like
yeah,
you can talk to me and I can say, "Yeah, this is the same for me."
yeah,
Because in some ways it will be, but it's in other ways definitely not. Like, your
Mhm.
situation is different, and there's not a lot of people out there
Can
in that
relate.
that even that you know anyway. Like,
Yeah. And that's hard because when you feel like you need the most amount of help you possibly can, but there's no one there. Like that's really been a challenge. And I think for me, we've gone from having a lot of support, getting him home from like the GI team in hospital and dietitians, to them very much saying that you just need to kind of get on with it as parents and treat him as a in quote normal
mm,
baby,
yeah,
which is so frustrating because I'm like, he's I want him to be, but he's not when it comes
yeah.
to weaning.
And you saying that is reiterating that in my mind. Like,
Yeah.
like, that he's
So it's
not.
been rocky. And I think for us that oh yeah, like it's been hard, the weaning process, and anybody who has got a child who weans and they start that process will get that it can be quite a frustrating and
Just you do not know what the right way is. And see on TikTok, there's bloody what my 7 months ate
mhm.
in a day, and it's like all this massive amount of food.
I know, and that's because you're like, how much are they meant to have?
Yeah,
Like,
and it's
and
all
then
like
yeah,
finger foods and things like that, and I'm like,
hmm,
I feel
totally.
like I'm taking a pouch, like, because
Blake's literally had like a snack, one of those melting puffs, and I'm like,
yeah,
is that enough? No, clearly
because you have no idea, honestly, no
no.
idea what can they have, and they're like, "Don't make it too complicated," and you're like,
But I think everything out there, I feel is quite complicated. Like,
"Yeah,
you know, from preparing to then like thinking about food groups, all that jazz. But anyway, I
I
feel
know."
like, yeah, I think accepting our reality has been probably the hardest part recently for me, and feeling quite isolated again because, as you say, no one can really relate. And I find like a lot of my friends are saying or putting on social media, as they should, right? They shouldn't not, but putting their little ones eating. And then I look at that and I'm like,
Yeah.
gosh, I've just tried to give Blake a couple spoonfuls of porridge and he's just spitting it all out.
No matter what, you're always gonna compare. People say,
Yeah,
don't compare," and you're like, "Yeah, try not to." But
so hard.
this is what thing is the rest of this episode, we're kinda gonna go into, like, milestones, and that's a massive part of this, like,
Yeah,
the comparing.
yeah,
Like, and I think with your situation, like you said, you didn't want to burden other people with this because I think multiple reasons. I think, 1, you didn't want to maybe admit that you were struggling
yeah,
because I
because
think we were
nobody
both not
does.
yeah, no one does, and you are superwoman, like, do you know what I mean? I feel like you just are go, go, go with everything, and if you're gonna do something right, if you're gonna do it right, you're gonna do it right, like,
Mhm.
you're gonna do it 100% right. That's it,
Yeah.
you to a T. There's no half-arsing anything. God, and I am a type B pal, like, do you know what I mean? I'm the type B in the relationship
I'm
where
like, she's inadvertently saying that you basically go, like, you go big or go home. That's kind
yeah,
of, that's my
you're
vibe.
doing it
Yeah.
right, you're doing it right. Like,
Yeah.
but I think as well, you didn't wanna maybe message me saying this because I'm not saying that I would have, but maybe I would have, I don't know, given you some, "Oh, well, this is what I've tried. This
Yeah.
is what I do."
Mhm.
But our situations are totally different, like, I wouldn't have done that because I know our situations are totally different.
But
I couldn't
people,
give you
like, it's so easy for people
unsolicited
to do
advice.
that.
Yeah, and it's not out of badness, and it's not out of
No,
anything
it's
else,
not.
it's just like, "Have you tried this?" And you're like, "No," because all I
Oh,
can
yeah.
have is
Like someone, I
mush.
said to Sarah recently, I was like, I'll just give an example, and then we'll kind of, I'm conscious, I don't want to take too much time talking about like this weaning piece because I feel like that's a whole
No,
other
it's
conversation.
like this is a reality right now, this is both our
But it is, my life is all about weaning. Like I feel like I wean, get him to sleep, then wean again. Like, but I found one of the hardest parts recently is that like I will maybe say to somebody, "Oh, this is hard. This is not an easy feat," and it's draining. And then somebody's like, "Well, why don't you try X food?"
yeah,
And I did try X food. And Blake, and I laugh at this, and this is, I don't want someone to think I'm an absolute like psychopath for laughing at this, but it gives you like the gravity, right? If like, so when someone gives like misplaced advice,
yeah.
the impact it can have. So someone had suggested a certain type of food, and they were like, my little one's just like grasped it, like finger food, it's great. I gave it to him and he nearly choked. And like, it was such well-intended advice and a suggestion, but it just wasn't the right advice, if that makes sense. And that's where I've kind of got to that point where I'm still navigating what advice to take and to try. And I've been really lucky that through this podcast, a lovely other mum of two twins who have OA and or TOF, as a lot of people refer to it, had reached out to me, and I had a conversation with her actually yesterday, and you've no idea like the aha moment that I had with her, like actually walking through the journey that she's been on. Like her twins they're a little bit older than Blake, so she's a little bit further ahead in the journey, but it was just that feeling of I'm not alone here. And she was able to give some really like well trusted advice, like, and well practiced. And don't get me wrong, her little ones, what might work for them can be very different to Blake, but what was useful is I felt like it was someone who could totally get what I was saying I was struggling with. So yeah, no matter what it is, whether it's the pile up of feeling you're consumed, or whether it's feeling like you are a little bit lost and feeling helpless, like what I would say is that when it comes to your mental well-being, everybody gets an impact at some stage, I think, in becoming a mum. It doesn't matter what it is, we're all in this together. And I think if I was to say to anybody, like, you're so right, Sarah, like, communicate, like, actually communicate. Like, you were the first person I put in a voice note how I was feeling. But it made me come away thinking, well, why has it taken Sarah to pull it out of me? So do talk about it. And I think
it took that because it's almost like I wanted someone to do that for me.
Yeah,
like I need someone to pull it out of me. But I think as well, you have stopped seeing the wellness team, haven't you? You got signed off from them.
So I got signed off because the wellness team got to a stage where they were transitioning roles. So the person I was seeing no longer was going to be working there. So I almost at that point got discharged.
So that must have maybe had a bit of an impact as well, because you weren't having that kind of outlet, like you weren't having that weekly or monthly or whatever it was kind of outlet to talk about.
Well, I had immediately, as soon as you asked me that question, and I knew I was emotional, and I could feel it. It's like that in the jugular and I knew as soon as I sent that voice note, I was like, I need to reach back out, because I just need to have someone to just be a sounding board. And sometimes it's not even to bounce things off, even it could just be someone to listen. Like that's all I needed, was someone just to be an ear.
Someone impartial as well, like that isn't someone who loves you. Like
yeah, totally.
And amazing. And you're like,
and I think like there's a massive part around like having somebody who is completely external that can give you almost that kind of confidence and that feeling of reassurance of no judgment. And that for me is huge, because you say you're like, God, you've got your shit together, and I'm like, if only you knew. Like it's, but that's
know, please.
But that's where I need to get better. I mean, like, oh my God, my day is just not going how I thought it would, or I'm run ragged, and you should see like how my days turned out, or how I'm feeling about being a mum.
I think we spoke about this as well, and I actually asked my mum about this, and I'd maybe like to know from our listeners what if they've experienced this and what they found hard. Going from 0 children to 1, like it's such a massive change. Like, and I think it's all like, oh, it's amazing, you're having a baby, yes, and you're so excited. And the actual reality of having a child,
oh, it's hard.
Sometimes, like, you think, oh my God, this is forever. Now, like when you're in the absolute trenches and you are not sleeping and you can't see the light, you're like, is this forever now? Like, and it is.
And we've spoken about the reality of like the times we have thought about or dreamt about the woman that you used to be,
Yeah, your old
and
life.
what that looked like. And we had this conversation the other night where we were like, do you ever think about what your life like used to be?
Do
And
you ever
like,
miss that?
yeah, and we both were like,
And, like,
yes.
obviously you'd never change your life, like, I love Felix, I would never ever change that, but yeah, I had such a good life, like
I'd love to have a day of just go back to the old Megs who had zero commitment, no real responsibilities. I had Nelly, but really she wasn't
yeah,
that much of a responsibility. When I look back now, I'm like, she was a breeze.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's I think for me it's like the lack of spontaneity that you now
yeah,
have in your life. You can't just spontaneously be like, oh, I'm going to pop out to
yeah, and
grab
because it's
something or go to the gym, whatever. You lose that completely. You lose a lot of, I guess, your identity, because
yeah,
you feel like, as you say, like you don't have time to get yourself dolled up,
that
and
was
that's
honestly
where,
a big part of my kind of breakdown was, like, I have no idea who I am, like,
yeah,
I have no
loss,
idea who I am, and I just
yeah,
was like, "Am I just the person that sits in the house all day
hmm
with a baby?" Like, it just really, kinda scared me
hmm
a little bit.
but I think that's a really normal thing to think, but
Thing
I
to
don't think
think.
enough people talk about it, right? I
No,
think there's a stigma associated with the fact that people are like, oh,
yeah,
you're a mom, it's the best thing ever, it's like it's
and
everything.
since
It's not.
this since this and I've spoke to, like, a couple of my friends, um, one of my friends had actually said, she was like, "Oh, I had moments, like, during the newborn phase, like, I thought, 'What have I done?'
hmm
Like, what have I done?'"
Yeah,
And, like, you know what way, it was just so nice to hear that. I thought, "God, I'm not crazy then, and, like, I'm not a bad mum for thinking that."
yeah, but I
And you
don't
just
think people talk enough about that. Like, I honestly
no,
feel like there's a stigma associated with, like, you've got to be this new and improved mom and accept that this is
happiest
your life.
happiest time of your life,
Yeah, but it's
forever.
hard. And I
And it
wish someone had said to me that when we were thinking about having Blake,
yeah,
this is what your life will look like.
the
Now you've got,
gravity of it.
yeah, I honestly do. And it's funny, we've got a few friends who haven't had children yet, but would like to at some point.
Yeah,
And I genuinely am very honest about, now our situation is very different in our journey. I totally appreciate that. And I try my hardest not to scaremonger people, because I'm like,
mhm,
this is not the norm that we've gone
yeah,
through. But at the same time, I want you to appreciate the normalities of having a baby. And
yeah,
this is what it feels like. Like,
yeah,
and I'm really candid about it now, because I wish someone had sat us down and said that to us.
yeah. Do you know what you're getting into?
hmm Not in the sense that I wouldn't have had Blake, but in the sense
No,
that
it
I
wouldn't have
would have
changed your
really
decision, but
soaked,
maybe mentally prepare you, but
or I might have taken a bit longer. I don't know. Like,
yeah, I know.
like,
I it's it's one of those things, like, when we went and saw Ryan's family, his mum had to say, "Do you remember your life without him?" Like, as if it was so romanticised, and I was like,
like,
yeah."
yeah,
I was like, "Aye, I do." Like,
it was
straight away,
easy.
not even thinking about it, I was like, "Yes."
Yeah,
And but the thing is, see, when I think of Chester, my dog, I've had him
yeah,
for 5 years, nearly 6 this year. I can't remember my life without him. So you obviously get to a point where you don't.
yeah,
But right now, when it's hard, I'm like,
yeah.
"Yeah, I do remember
Life
it."
was so good.
And
I totally get it. Life was easy and simple, and yeah,
my, brother is getting married this year, and him and his fiancée are like, "We'll try for a baby after we get married," like, all that kind of thing. They're a little bit older, so I understand, like, that they're maybe thinking like, "Oh, we want to do this a little bit quicker," or whatever. But I said to Emily, my sister-in-law to be, I said, "Enjoy this year." I was like, "You enjoy it. Don't wish this year away. Enjoy the run up to your wedding. Enjoy your hen dos. Enjoy all of
yeah.
it."
Because you don't appreciate it until you don't have it.
No. But then when I look
Yeah.
back to the year of my wedding, like, we just had so much fun. It was just such a good year. So
When we
I
said this
wouldn't
before,
change
it was like
anything.
our prime year.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you
it
look
was
back
such
and you're
a good
like, God,
year.
I was in my prime. Like,
I was.
that
I
was like
was,
the best
like,
time.
skinny because I was getting married, so I was, like, at the gym loads or whatever, like,
You had time to go to the
looking
gym.
good. Like, all of that. I was getting my Botox regularly.
You're just like making an effort, right?
Yeah.
But you
But
also had the ability to, right? And that's the thing for me. Like, I just don't think enough people like take a minute to just have these conversations about life is is chaotic. It's completely different. It's beautifully different, but it's different.
Yeah.
And I think,
You just change as a person.
yeah, you
And
do.
it sounds dramatic, but you do.
No, I totally agree with you.
Maybe not in every aspect. Like, I still like the things I was interested in. Like, I still like making outfits and fashion changes and stuff like I really like that. That's my kind of hobby. But your priorities change, like just your way of thinking changes because you have a tiny person to look after and keep alive.
Yeah, your time you just
Your
lose your
relationship
time.
changes, everything changes.
Oh yeah, I mean that's another conversation for another day.
Yeah.
You
But
become just teammates, and you just
yeah. And I honestly think that's what like that was another thing during my whole that was adding to it. It's like we're literally passing ships. We just we're both shattered. Like we're both feeling
yeah.
this. But I was like, I'm with him all day. You get to go to work. Like you have that kind of break to talk to adults, and it was just a massive thing. And I'm going back to work next week, so I think even that plan of see having a plan of when I'm going back to work and knowing that I am, and it's made me feel better. Like just to know that I'm
A bit of
gonna
time
have
for
those two,
yourself.
yeah, I'm gonna have those two days that I don't need to think and be mum like constantly. I can go and do some mind numbing work, like even if because I'll go back and I'm like, oh, this is so boring. I wish I was watching Hey Dougie. I'll be
Yeah,
wishing I was going
hey
back
Dougie
into
and the
the 70s.
jumperoo.
But that's one thing a lot of people are like, maternity's coming to an end, I don't wanna go back to work and like all that. I don't feel like that. And I
Well,
think
it's
that
funny because I've started doing kit days with work,
mhm,
and like for me, I've really enjoyed doing them.
yeah,
And for me, it's engaging a different part of Megan, right?
yeah,
It's actually
exactly,
thinking about work modes. And do not
exactly.
get me wrong, getting Blake out the house in time for jumping into
Mm,
calls and stuff
mm,
is a mammoth task. Like I felt like there's been times I've been like to my mum, dad, out the house.
yeah,
We need
safely,
to get
yeah,
out the house. And yeah, that can be stressful. But it's so good for you. Like, so whether
yeah,
it's work or whether it's a new hobby, like we've started to obviously have to train for this mammoth cycle that we're
uh-huh,
doing.
which we'll
Like
say
we
at
went,
the end, 28,
yeah, I mean,
28.
it is, it's taken a lot of time
Yeah,
to train. Like we were out on the bikes on Saturday doing 30 miles, which is
even
just a
that, like and you're getting
training
your
round.
endorphins going as well, doing all that, like, you need to have those times,
Yeah.
and that is yeah, it's so important, and I do think, like, I never thought I would wanna go back to work, like, I never thought I'd be like that, but yeah, I need to just go and use my brain a different way.
Hmm.
I need
Yeah.
to I need to go and do that and not just think about timings and weaning and bottles and
Hmm.
changing nappies, like, and watching Hey Dougie or
Yeah.
Teletubbies or do you know what I mean?
But I
And
would love to hear from our listeners around, like you mentioned it a little bit earlier, around what are the things that have like pushed your buttons or made you feel like, "Oh, I miss my old life." I would genuinely love to hear what people think around, what are the things that make them yearn a little bit for what was their life before.
yeah,
Um, and
and
then what
also I see some TikToks, it's like, I just wish I could rot on the couch and scroll on my phone, and I'm like, "Yeah, I wish I could do that."
or binge watch a whole season of something and just like
Yeah,
have peace with a cup of tea.
uninterrupted and yeah.
That'd be
Like, me
lovely.
and Ryan last night had dinner together last night, just sit like,
Oh,
after Felix went to
how
bed, like, doing
romantic.
that. But it wasn't like we were just watching TV, we watched TV and we sat in silence and ate our dinner at the same time though, like, do you know what I mean? Whereas
Yeah.
before it's like, eat when
And I
you want.
think so. Someone gave me a really good tip recently, and it was actually to go back to the weaning point. So to encourage Blake to want to eat was, why don't you start eating together as a family? And I was like, but by the time we get to have dinner, it's
Yeah,
usually really late.
I
But
know. I think that's really hard right now. I think
mhm.
when they get a bit older, yeah, because you can they want to stay up a little bit later or whatever, you can do your timings, whereas Felix's dinner
Oh,
is at, like,
it's
3. Like, do you know what I mean? Or something like that. I'm not
yeah.
even at that point.
Well, we've got to that point that Paul and I were like, well, we'll try and commit to do it maybe once or twice a week, but we just say we're having a really early tea.
Dinner, yeah.
So we're like, right, 3:30. Do we just have like an early dinner? And to be perfectly honest, we did it last night, and neither of us regretted having an earlier dinner because we actually had more time
Yeah.
in the evening.
I remember that worked for you.
So it kind of worked, but we're like, we should try and make that happen.
Hard because like Ryan is
He's in it from work quite late.
yeah, like when he comes home from work,
Yeah.
traffic, stuff like that, it's about 5:30, and then it's nearly bedtime. Like, do you know what I mean? We get supper.
It's a juggle.
We have supper together. He has some rusks, and then bath and bed. But
Yeah,
someone has to feed him as well. It's like you can't just sit and eat and have dinner because
yeah,
he's not picking things up yet. He's not doing that yet. He's not showing. He's doing a little
yeah.
bit, but not showing too much interest in it. So it's. I think you'll know when they're ready to do that. I think, but if that works for you, it's great.
Well, I said to God, I was like, the days that you're home,
Yeah.
when you're not in the office, let's try and do that. And then it might be wishful thinking, but I was like, let's give it a go. And it also means that we actually sit down and eat together, because right now I feel like we eat together at like 9 o'clock at night.
At least go in with the good intentions.
Definitely. So I guess on the topic of good intentions, etc., guilty pleasures. What is your guilty pleasure right now?
Oh, it's a hard one. I would say like sharing my outfits of the day. There you go.
Loving that.
My Instagram stories. I mean, I'm just trying to find my style again, trying to, you know.
I mean, I am thoroughly enjoying your outfits of the week posts on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm not doing it for any kind of reason other than it makes me feel good. So, yeah, that's my guilty pleasure.
I'm loving it. You give me a bit of inspo as well.
Okay.
So my guilty pleasure, probably this mug.
Oh my god, did you get the heated one?
I got the heated one. Although it's flashing red, so I need to charge it. And find where the charger is.
Right now.
Mm-hmm.
I am so excited to hear about this.
Game changer. So
that is a treat and a half.
Well, so there's a story behind this for our listeners. So I had said to Sarah, I'd seen an influencer talk about this mug that retains heat. And if any mums are out there and are coffee drinkers or tea drinkers, I'm sure you all relate to this, that you never manage to finish a cup of tea warm. Like my tea is always cold and it's just crap. It's never the same. And I found this online. Someone said there's a mug that keeps your temperature regulated. You can even set the temperature on it as well, depending on what kind of like hot drink you have. Anyway, I was like, Sarah, I'm going to get this and I'm going to share it on our socials for any mums out there. And then I googled how much it was, and I was like,
and this was maybe not. Ago, this was months ago. We talked about this. That's why I'm so shocked that she got it. She has not said that she bought it.
So months ago, and I was like, I'm not sharing this, and I'm not buying it because it was over £100 odd. It was, and I was like, that
a mug, and you think, oh my god.
I was like, I like my tea, but like that just feels excessive, right? Anyway, it was our anniversary on the 4th of March. I can't remember when that was last week.
Slow clap to you. Slow clap. Well done.
So
done.
Right? He listened. I mean, I'm sitting here like smiling like a Cheshire cat because I was like, I got him nothing, so I feel really doubtful.
I feel a baby last year, you know.
I thought we'd said we're doing no gifts for anniversary because we don't really make a thing of anniversary, right? We went out for dinner, which was lovely, so that was our real treat. But I got him a card. But anyway, he got it. He got it on Vinted. So it was brand new, unopened. So if anyone is interested in an Ember mug, so they're called Ember, EMBER. Yeah. So on Vinted, and he got it for I think like £70.
Wow.
Maybe even cheaper. But I will post the link to the Ember.
£70 for a mug is still quite dear.
It is.
But
what
a treat.
I've got hot coffee.
It's fine.
Yeah, but it's amazing. Honestly, that has been my guilty pleasure. It's a long-winded guilty pleasure.
Oh, I'm really happy for you. I'm really happy you have that.
So yeah, I just feel like I'm sitting, but it is red right now, so it's telling me that it needs charged. But yeah, that is my guilty pleasure. What?
Can it go in the dishwasher?
I don't think so. I don't actually know. I haven't checked. I've set it up on my phone so like I can
Has it got like an app or something?
Oh yeah, it's got an app. Now I didn't do this initially, and Paul was like, "You're missing the whole point of why it's £70 or more than £70 if you buy it like at the RRP." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "No, you can sync it to your app and like pick your. That's how you get to pick your temperatures, and you can set like presets."
Wow. Guys, we are living in
Another world.
the 3000s. What is happening?
So yeah, if anybody is, oh thanks, Perry. You can't put them in the dishwasher. I'm really glad you told me that because I was going to try to do it tonight.
Yeah, don't do it because you'll ruin it. That's why I asked, just in case, because that's something I would do. Just put it in.
I better tell my mum that because I feel like that's the kind of thing she'd come in and she'd just clean up and just put it in. So Janice, if you're listening, because she listens every week when we post an episode, bless her, please don't put my Ember mug in the dishwasher. But yeah, there's my wee thumbs up. But yeah, that's my guilty pleasure this week.
Good. Well, it was lovely to be back.
It's nice to have you back. It's so nice to be back together.
And crying on your screens once more.
I know. And we are, our next episode, I'm going to put it out there because if I put it out there, then it means it's going to happen.
Right.
The next episode, we have 2 special guests, not just one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you are.
Oh, I've got balloons. I didn't mean to do that.
You are putting this out there. I don't know if you should do that because what if they turn around and say, change your mind?
Well, then we can cut this.
Okay.
So we have both of our hubbies joining us for the next episode. We have managed to peer pressure them into joining us, but
it has been requested.
Yes. We had put out to all of you lovely listeners, what topics do you want us to start covering? Is there anything particular you want us to delve into? And actually getting both Paul and Ryan's perspectives and side of their events and the journey that we've gone through and seeing it through their eyes rather than just the mum and us. So the boys are going to be joining us.
Soup and Godsey.
Soup and Godsey. So yeah, if you fancy listening to, I guess, hearing it from their perspective, and I think it'll be hopefully a really good episode to represent that it's a journey that not just the mums go through, like as a couple you both go through it, and I think also they're the unsung heroes. I don't know if they are, but they're the ones I think that we don't hear enough of dads talking about.
Yeah, and how it affects them.
Yeah.
Totally different experience for them.
Yeah. So they have agreed to join us for the next episode. So you'll have all heard about them both in our episodes. So stay tuned to meet them in the flesh. And yeah, thank you as always. It's been so nice to catch up.
And we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next time. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.